So we started pineal gland. In that, we did the epipylysis.
Hmm. Pineal gland.
Yes.
No, it's long back story. Is
Oh,
it okay? Yeah, yeah. Just one. Give me 1 second. Yes, you are right. Uh, Pineal gland. Just a minute. Let me check with my neural control and coordination, chemical coordination. Yes, yes, you are right. We did pineal gland. That we did in just 9th of. Just a minute. Mhm. Okay. Yes. So we did pineal gland on 9th of Feb. Give me 1 second, just Sakura. I just have to cross check so that task was on. Right. We did pineal gland. Then 14. Oh. Right. So we were supposed to start from like pineal gland onward. So what is the next gland? You are right. We were doing. Yes, this was the topic which we were doing. And hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal gland done, right? So what is the next gland? Let me check it. We were doing as per the sequence of the NCRT. So we did pineal gland. So yes, next gland is thyroid gland, right? So let's start with the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, right? So yes. So let me show you first thyroid gland where exactly it is found. Today is I think the last class of the last like our syllabus, and everyone is on leave. This is a thyroid gland. Next is yes, thyroid gland. So put the heading thyroid gland. First, let me show you what is the location of thyroid gland. So this is one of the most important gland of our body, which control the metabolic functions of our body. It is responsible for maintaining the immunity of our body and reproduction. endocrine. Thyroid gland. Yes, this is the actually thyroid gland. Right. So fine, Yushra, you joined at right time. I was just about to start. Am I audible to you as well, Yushra?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Fine. Yeah, very good evening. I thought that
Sorry,
only.
sir, I got late today because I had some network issues.
No issue, no issue. Yushra. Actually, this is the last class, so I was expecting that most of the people should come, right? Because we have completed our syllabus, and just we have to complete the control and coordination chapter, and this is the almost we have started in last class. So we were supposed to start with the thyroid gland. So look, this is the location of thyroid gland, right?
Sir, I was wondering,
Yes,
we
Yushra.
did not have a class on Monday, right?
Yes, we did not have a class on Monday. Actually, I was supposed that's what we discussed in last class.
Yes,
So
sir. I
actually,
was just reconfirming.
yeah, I was on leave, so I was traveling, so
Okay, sir.
I could not take test class. So today we are going to sum up the syllabus, right? So and for the like next classes, Niskarsh ji will communicate that how we are going for the revision and the rest of the activity. Right? He'll update you. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So today we have to start with the thyroid gland. Actually, this chemical coordination is very important for your medical examination. Definitely, your school examiner will also ask question from it. Like they will ask the like they will ask only two questions. First, either they will ask you for the function of particular gland, or they will ask you for the particular hormone, function of hormone, and function of gland and hormone both are the same thing almost, right? But they can break the question, like they can ask you the function of two or three hormones, and the third thing which they can ask you, that is the deficiency, or means hyposecretion, means less secretion, or hypersecretion. That is the only thing which they can ask you, right? So we have to cover only three things. So thyroid gland, look, this is the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is found below the thyroid cartilage. So thyroid cartilage, we have already, let me recall you that we have discussed this thyroid cartilage in respiratory system when we were studying the larynx, right? So thyroid cartilage is the posterior part of the, like anterior, lower anterior part of the vocal cord, means that is the larynx, right? So this is the thyroid cartilage. Below the thyroid cartilage there is the thyroid gland, right? And this is the trachea, that is the respiratory tract. And the function of thyroid gland, this is basically responsible for maintaining the immunity of the body, right? And look, let me tell you something more. So thyroid gland is made up of some circular structure. These circular structure, they are like this kind of the structures. Rather circular, they are a spherical structure, and these spherical structures are vesicles. And basically, these vesicles are known as thyroid follicle. So these vesicles are known as thyroid follicle. So thyroid follicle, they secrete the like inside the thyroid follicle, there is some colloidal substance, like colloidal substance. So they remains filled with the colloidal substance. This colloid contain T3 and T4 hormone. This colloid contain T3 plus T4 hormone, right? T3 and T4 hormone, they are collectively called thyroxine. So we call them thyroxine. Now, what is the T3 and what is the T4? Actually, the full form of T3 is triiodothyronine, right? And tetraiodothyronine. T4 is tetra. So this is the triiodothyronine. And T4 is tetraiodothyronine. So collectively, triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine, though both are collectively called as thyroxine hormone, right? They are basically also called the growth hormone because they are responsible for just the growth of the body, right? And there are some more cells. So thyroid gland is made up of thyroid follicle, right? And the next thing, around the thyroid follicle, there are some more cells are formed. So around the thyroid follicle, there are some cells. These cells are basically, these are the cells. So these cells are basically called C cells. They are called C cells, right? These C cells are responsible for secretion of a hormone that is called thyrocalcitonin. Thyrocalcitonin. This is the hormone thyrocalcitonin. So this is the hormone which is responsible for the growth of the children, right? And it control the calcium metabolism as well, right? So first, please write it down, these structures. Then I'll make you to understand, like write it down. Then I'll dictate for that. And hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism, both are the detrimental for a person. Let me know when you note it down. This is very important. This thyroxine hormone and thyroid gland, and even parathyroid gland, both are important for your school examination.
Yes,
Done?
sir.
Okay. So please start noting now.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, sure. Take your time.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay, so start writing now. This is the largest endocrine gland. This is the largest endocrine gland located anterior to thyroid cartilage of larynx. This is the largest endocrine gland located anterior to thyroid cartilage of larynx in neck. Full stop. This is the only gland. This is the only gland that store hormone in large quantity. Make the star in both of the questions. These both are the question for me. This is the only gland that store hormone in large quantity. This is the only gland that store hormone in large quantity for 2 months. Full stop. Next point. It secretes 3 hormones. T3 and T4. T3 and T4, which are collectively called thyroxine. T3 and T4, which are collectively called thyroxine, and secreted by follicular cells. Full stop. Thyrocalcitonin secreted by
Can you repeat?
thyrocalcitonin is secreted by C cells. Right? Next. Function. So function of thyroxine. First, function of thyroxine. They regulate the metabolic rate of body. They regulate the metabolic rate of body. Next point. They stimulate protein synthesis. Next point. They are responsible for mental development. They increase heat production, means they are responsible for maintaining our body temperature. They increase heat production, hence maintain body temperature. They increase the action of neurotransmitter. Next, thyrocalcitonin. So these were the these all were the function of thyroxine, means T3 and T4. Thyroxine. Now we are going to study the action of thyrocalcitonin. So what is the function of thyrocalcitonin? So please note down. It is secreted when calcium level high in blood. It is secreted when calcium level is high in blood. It lowers the calcium level. In blood. It lowers the calcium level in blood by suppressing release of calcium ion from bones. By suppressing release of calcium ion from bones. Full stop. Next is disorder, right? So hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism. Hyper means over secretion, hypo means less secretion, right? So first write it down, thyroid disorder, and out of these disorders, the first one is hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism means over secretion. Hyperthyroidism, right? So this hyperthyroidism is also known as exophthalmic goiter. Exophthalmic goiter. Right? This is also known as either grave disease. Grave disease. This is also known as grave disease, right? So note it down. It is characterized by. It is characterized by exophthalmia. Now, what is exophthalmia? Means you must have seen the people whose eyes like protrude outward, it bulges out. You must have seen those people. Like if they see someone, so it appears that the person is gazing someone, right? But that is a naturally because their eyeballs are protrude outward, right? So this is a disease. This is a hyperthyroidism. This is called exophthalmic goiter, right? It is characterized by exophthalmia. Exophthalmia. That is protrusion of eyes. That is protrusion of eyes. Protrusion of eyeball. That is protrusion means coming out. Protrusion of eyeball. That is protrusion of eyeball because fluid accumulate behind them. Full stop. Rapid heartbeat, nervousness, and restlessness. Rapid heartbeat, nervousness, and restlessness. Next one is that is the hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism. Next one is hypothyroidism. Right. Hypo means Lect secretion. So there are the various diseases, or we can say the defect in the hypothyroidism. So some important, please write it down. So first disease which is caused by the hypothyroidism, that is the cretinism. Cretinism. Right. So cretinism is the first disease which is caused over here. Right. Please note it down. In infant have slow body growth. Cretinism in infant it have slow. So cretinism causes basically it affect infant. In infant it have slow body growth. Infant it have slow body growth and mental development. Slow body growth and mental development. Reduced metabolic rate. Reduced metabolic reduced metabolic rate. Slow body growth, reduced metabolic rate, stunned growth, and pigeon chest. Stunned growth and pigeon chest. Retarded sexual development. Retarded sexual development. And basically what you have to take care of, that you have to remember that cretinism takes place, means it causes, it affect the infant, it do not affect the adult one, right? So the cretinism is caused to, like, it affect to infant, right? So next, the second one. The second one is called simple goiter, right? So simple goiter where this throat part swell, right? This is the very basic kind of the disease. This is the most prominent disease which takes place in due to thyroid deficiency, right? So second one is simple goiter. Simple Why? Please write down. It is caused by deficiency of iodine. Is caused by deficiency of iodine. Before going into that disease, I want to tell you, like you can get the question like this type of the question as well in your medical examination, right? You can get this kind of the question in your medical examination. So you have to take care of that thing as well. Sometimes they do ask that why simple goiter do not takes place. So sometimes they do ask like why the simple goiter do not occurs at the coastal region. So you know what happened? Actually, this disease is caused by due to deficiency of iodine. See, those people who are living around the coastal area, they take the seafood, and basically seafood is rich in iodine because iodine is the thing which is extracted from brown algae, and sea water is also iodine rich, right? So those people indirectly they always take the iodine, hence iodine deficiency never occurs in those people who are living in the coastal area, right? Basically, this disease is effectively this is widely pervaded in the area of Rajasthan, area of Haryana, right? So please note it down. It is caused by due to deficiency of iodine, which is needed for the synthesis of thyroid. Full stop. It causes thyroid enlargement. It causes thyroid enlargement. It causes thyroid enlargement. It may lead to cretinism. It may lead to cretinism. Like so goiter, hypothyroidism we delete. Okay, so next gland is parathyroid gland, right? Is it clear? Thyroid gland clear? It's very important actually. Clear to all of you?
Sir, in cretinism, if it
Yeah.
affects an infant, will it continue to an adult also?
Yeah, that will continue in adult as well, right? It starts at the infant stage and it remains. And those people who are basically affected with the defective hormone, defective gland, they do not have very long lifespan, actually, to be very frank, right? In many of the gland defect, the person dies at the age of 21, 25. In some they dies at the 45, 35, right? They do not complete their lifespan actually, right? So in cretinism as well, this is the same thing, that the person will remain like in the same situation till adult, and it cannot be recorrected actually. Got? Simple goiter can be recorrected because this is due to deficiency and it takes place in adult stage, but this first one, cretinism, it cannot be uh, controlled, right? Recorrect. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so put the next heading, that is parathyroid gland. So thyroid and parathyroid gland, they are found nearby. They remains actually connected. The next one is start writing down parathyroid gland. This is located on posterior surface of. This is located on. So these yellow color dot like structure, So this red one is the thyroid gland, and behind, suppose that this is the thyroid gland, so behind this side, behind the thyroid gland, there are 4 points. These all 4 small glands like button-like structure, they are called parathyroid gland, right? So they are just found in the behind the thyroid gland, right? So located on posterior surface of thyroid gland. So look, so these gland, they also have 2 type of the cells. First, let me explain what kind of the structure they have. So they have these are made up of 2 kind of the cells, right? So these are the structures, and there are 2 type of the cells. So these cells are basically called chief cells. And there are another kind of the cells which have been reported, and these are called basically oxyphil cells. Oxyphil cells. So chief cells and oxyphil cells. So chief cells are responsible for basically secretion of parathyroid, right? Parathyroid hormone. So they are responsible for the parathormone. So they are responsible for the secretion of parathormone. So parathormone is also known as, you can call it parathormone or parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone, PTH. So they are basically the functional cells which are this parathormone is also known as Polyps hormone after the discoverer of this hormone, Polyps hormone. So parathormone, parathyroid hormone, or Polyps hormone, they all are the same thing, right? And the oxyphil cells, what they secrete, what is their function, not known, right? Their function is not known. So what they do actually, so that is not known yet. So start knowing now. It regulate the calcium and phosphate balance. It regulate the calcium and phosphate balance. It regulate the calcium and phosphate balance between blood and their tissue. Between blood and their tissue. Between blood and their tissue. Full stop. Next one. It increases the calcium reabsorption. It increases the calcium reabsorption from nephron. It increases the calcium reabsorption from nephron and inhibit means stops and inhibit the phosphate reabsorption from kidney. Full stop.
So can you repeat from phosphate?
Yes. It increases the calcium reabsorption from nephron. Calcium reabsorption from nephron and inhibit phosphate reabsorption from kidney. Stop. It controlled the blood calcium level. Stop. It rises the calcium level. It rises the calcium level in blood. It rises the calcium level in blood. Next is parathyroid disorder. Parathyroid disorder. So parathyroid disorder. So first one is that is a hypoparathyroidism, right? So please note it down. Hypoparathyroidism. Hypoparathyroidism means less secretion of parathyroid. It causes lowering of blood calcium level. It causes lowering of blood calcium level. Stop. It causes cramp in muscles. It causes, and the next line is very important, it causes cramp in muscle, which is known as, it causes cramp in muscles, which is known as parathyroid tetany. Parathyroid tetany. It is known as parathyroid tetany or hypocalcemic or hypocalcemic tetany. Next is hyperparathyroidism. Next is hyperparathyroidism. Right? Hyperparathyroidism. So start writing down. It is means excess of parathyroid. Excess of hormone draw more calcium from bones. Excess of hormone draw more calcium from bones. Full stop. It causes demineralization. It causes demineralization, resulting softening of bone, and bending of bone, causes softening of bone and bending of bone. Let's stop. It also causes osteoporosis. Look, what is the osteoporosis? Osteo means bone and porosis means hole. So a small pore-like structure in bones, due to which bone becomes softer and it breaks easily and take much more time in rejoining. Right? So please note it down. It causes osteoporosis, which is common in women. Bones become softer and breaks easily. Let's stop. One last point. It also causes kidney stone. It also causes kidney stone. Right? Clear? So what is the next line? So next gland is thymus gland. So put the next heading, that is the thymus gland. Actually, this is the gland when we take birth. It is of it is a smaller. When we become adult, it becomes larger again. When we become like mid age, it becomes smaller, and at the time of the old age, it becomes almost degenerate, right? So scientists consider that this is the gland which is responsible for the aging of our life. So aging takes place because of this gland, because this gland maintain the immune system, it maintain the immunity of our body, right? So this is the actual situation of this is the actual position of the thymus gland. And basically, the thymus gland is found with the look. This is the thyroid gland, and behind the thyroid gland there are parathyroid gland, right? And below the thyroid gland there is a thymus gland between the lungs, right? So these are made up of small, this lobe-like structure, right? So uh, that is the thyroid thymus gland, right? So basic function of the thymus gland to maintain the uh, immunity of our body. So that is its basic function. So let me tell you what are the function. Let me explain you. Pineal gland, that is the thymus. Just thyroid gland is done. The parathyroid. Yes, please write it down. It's very simple. So start noting now. At the birth, at the birth time, it is at the birth time, it is 10 to 15 gram, 10 to 15 gram in weight. At the birth time, this is 10 to 15 gram in weight. When we grow up, when we grow up, when we grow up, the age of puberty, when we grow up, at the age of puberty, age of puberty, it is 30 to 40 gram in weight, 30 to 40 gram in weight, and reduces in weight at mid adult stage to 10 gram, and reduces in weight at mid adult stage, up to 10 gram. Let's stop. Disappearance of thymus means at the old age it disappears. Disappearance of thymus causes aging. Disappearance of thymus causes aging. It secretes thymosin hormone. it secretes thymosin hormone.
Sir, can you repeat from disappearance of?
Thymus causes aging. Disappearance of thymus causes aging. Full stop. Thymosin stimulate. It secretes thymosin. It secretes thymosin, which stimulate development of which stimulate development of certain kind of WBC, which stimulate development of certain kind of WBC, which provide immunity to our body, which provide immunity to our body. Next point. It also has 10,
Sir, can you repeat from which provide?
which provide immunity to our body. It also has 10. It also has 10. The attainment of maturity. It also has 10. The attainment of maturity. Right? So this was the thymus gland. Clear? Now
Attainment of?
attainment of maturity. Right? So next is adrenal gland. Right? This is the most important gland in the all system. So, and it is a bit complex as well. So that is the adrenal gland. Look, adrenal. This is the adrenal gland. Adrenal glands are actually they are found in a pair, and every kidney have adrenal gland at the top of its right. Look, so this is the actually adrenal gland, right? So adrenal gland secrete the hormone which is basically known as adrenaline. In total, this hormone is known as adrenaline. Right. So look, uh, adrenaline hormone. This is secreted by three layer. So adrenal gland have three layer. So basically, let me explain you the layer of adrenal gland. So you can see these are known as the middle part is known as cortex part. So this outer part, this outer part. So outer part is known as capsule. So capsule is the outer part, right? And inner side, this one, this side is known as adrenal cortex. This side. So this outer side is known as adrenal cortex, and inner side is known as adrenal medulla. This one. So this is the adrenal medulla, and this outer side, this is called adrenal cortex. Again, the cortex have been divided into two parts. So first part is adrenal medulla, inner side, and outer side, this is the cortex. Cortex is divided further in three category, means further in three layer. So out of the cortex, the outermost layer is known as zona glomerulosa. Then, so A layer is zona glomerulosa. Then B layer, this is known as zona fasciculata, and C layer, this is known as zona reticularis. So there are three layers: zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. Out of these three layers, the outer one, the zona glomerulosa, it secreted the mineralocorticoid, a type of hormone which are known as mineralocorticoid. And out of them, they are major hormones of aldosterone and cortisol, right? Then the middle layer of the cortex, that is called zona fasciculata, it secrete the glucocorticoids. Example, cortisol and cortisone, right? The third layer, that is called zona reticularis, it secretes the hormone. They are called androgens. Out of them, estrogen and testosterone, they are the true hormone, right? And the inner layer, that is the medulla, it secretes two hormones, catecholamines and peptides. So catecholamine have one more name. Let me tell you what is the more name of catecholamines. So this is all these hormones are nephrin, epinephrine and norepinephrine, right? So these hormones are known as epinephrine and norepinephrine. They are two hormones, and these collectively called catecholamines, right? And peptides, they are the responsible for secretion of formation of hormones, so somatostatin and rest of the hormone, right? So start noting now. It is a bit complex, and you have to note it down all the hormones. So look, adrenal gland is also known as gland of emergency. First, please note it down. Adrenal gland is also known as gland of emergency. Gland of emergency, right? Adrenal gland is also known as gland of emergency. It is located at the top of kidney. It is located at the top of kidney. It is made up of a two layer. It is made up of a two layer. Adrenal cortex, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla, right? Further, medulla is divided into three layers, right? So put the heading adrenal medulla, adrenal cortex, adrenal cortex. Put the heading adrenal cortex. So out of adrenal cortex, the first layer is zona glomerulosa. Zona glomerulosa. Zona glomerulosa, as we have discussed, it is the outermost layer. This is the outermost layer. And what it secretes, the group of hormone that it secretes are known as mineralocorticoid. Mineralocorticoid, right? Out of these mineralocorticoids, the basic hormones of, or we can say the main hormone of mineralocorticoids are called aldosterone. Main hormone are aldosterone and cortotestosterone, right? Aldosterone and cortotestosterone. Cortotestosterone, right? Now, start writing now the function of this one, these hormones. Yes. It increases, just cortisol. Yes. Aldosterone is the main hormone. Aldosterone is the main hormone that regulate the sodium level, that regulate the sodium level in body, that regulate the sodium level in body, and it increases the sodium level in blood, and it increases the sodium level in blood. Full stop. Right? So next layer. So the next layer is, that is this one, the second layer. So second layer is zona fasciculata, right? So put the second heading, zona fasciculata. Zona fasciculata, it is the middle layer, and the hormone group of the hormone it secrete are known as glucocorticoid, right? Glucocorticoid. Out of these glucocorticoids, cortisol and cortisone are the main hormone. So put the name of the hormone, cortisone, cortisol, and cortisone, right? So it secrete cortisol and cortisone. Let's talk. Cortisol is the most abundant and approximately 95% of glucocorticoid. It stimulates the liver.
Sir, can you repeat for abundant?
It is the most abundant, that is 95% of all glucocorticoid. 95% of all glucocorticoid. Let's stop. It stimulates the liver to synthesize. The carbohydrate. It stimulates liver to synthesize carbohydrate from amino acid and glycerol. Next point. It increases the glucose level in blood. It increases the glucose level in blood. Next point. It increases the amino acid. It increases the amino acid in blood. It increases the amino acid in blood. Next point. It have anti-insulin effect. Look, anti-insulin effect. This is very important. Make a start. This is question for a medical examination. Look, the function of cortisol is to increase the glucose level in blood, and the function of insulin is to reduce the glucose level. Hence, both are antagonistic. Both have opposite function. That's why anti-insulin effect is it have function which is opposite to insulin, right? Next, the next one is also very important. Make a star. Next function, that is make a star. It is immunosuppressive, means it suppress immune system. It is immunosuppressive. So it suppress our immune system, which fight against the disease. It is immunosuppressive. Hence, it is used in the treatment of allergy. Hence, it is used in treatment of allergy. Full stop. It increases, next point, it increases RBC count in body, and it increases RBC count in body and decreases WBC count in body. Full stop. Next point, again make a star. It is also very important question. It deals with stress. It deals with stress. Hence, also known as stress hormone. Hence, also known as stress hormone. Right? So the third layer is zona reticularis. Right? That is the third layer. Zona reticularis. So zona reticularis, that is, it secrete the hormones. So look, these are the hormones. They are known as androgens. So basically, they are the sex hormones. So estrogens and testosterone are out of them, right? So zona reticularis, it secrete the hormones, the group of hormone that is known as androgen. And out of these androgens, there are two androgens, testosterone and progesterone. Testosterone and progesterone. Testosterone and progesterone. Look. So start adding them. These are also called sex hormone. These are also called sex hormones, right? They are called sex hormones. Let's stop. They are produced in large quantity. They are produced in large quantities in female than males. They are produced in large quantities in female than males. Full stop. The male sex hormone, the male sex hormones are androgen. The male sex hormones are androgen. That is important for male fetus development. That is important for male fetus development. Right? Next, female sex hormones. Female sex hormones are estrogen. Female sex hormones are estrogen, which maintain female sex hormones are estrogen, which maintain the secondary sex characteristic, which maintain the secondary sex characteristic in female. Full stop. Now, adrenal gland. So these were all the functions of uh, adrenal gland, right? Is it clear to all of you? So actually in NCERT, there are not any disorder regarding this one. But I want you to write it down, some of the disorder which have been asked in your medical examination, right? So put it down the heading disorders. So what are the disorders caused by this one? So out of them, the first disorder is, that is Addison's disease. Addison's disease. So Addison disease is actually caused due to deficiency of mineralocorticoids. Deficiency of mineralocorticoid, right? So it causes due to deficiency of mineralocorticoid, right? And glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid. It is due to deficiency of mineral and glucocorticoid is causes tuberculosis, that is called TB. Tuberculosis. It causes tuberculosis, right? And low blood sugar. Tuberculosis, low blood sugar, and increase sodium in urine. That increases the sodium in urine, right? Increases sodium in urine, right? And the next one is, that is it causes second disorder is, the second disorder is adrenal virilism. Adrenal virilism. Now, what is the adrenal virilism? How does it causes? So that is, note it down. That is the appearance of male characteristic in female, means appearance of mustache and beard in females. You must have seen that sometime, abnormality. Appearance of male character in female due to excess of androgen. Due to excess of androgen secretion in female, like appearance of beard and mustache, etc. Appearance of beard, mustache, etc. in female. Well, last disorder that you need to, this disorder have been asked even many times, gynecomastia. 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 Due to excess of, excess of estrogen, due to excess of estrogen in male, enlargement of mammary gland due to excess of estrogen in male, enlargement of mammary gland takes place. Right. Now, so we have studied all the hormones which are secreted by the this part, cortex part, right? Now we have to study the hormones which are secreted by the medulla part. Now put the hormone adrenal, put the heading adrenal medulla. So next heading will be adrenal medulla. Adrenal, right? So adrenal medulla secrete look, it secretes basically two hormones. So the first hormone is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is also known as noradrenaline. Noradrenaline. And the next hormone which it secretes, that is the epinephrine. Epinephrine. Epinephrine is also known as adrenaline. Please note it down. Epinephrine secreted during emergency. Epinephrine is secreted during emergency. Hence, it is known as emergency hormone. Hence, it is known as emergency hormone. It have greater effect on cardiovascular activity, means heart. It have greater effect on cardiovascular activity. In bracket, you can write it on the heart. Next.
It has greater effect on
cardiovascular activity. So it have greater effect on cardiovascular activity, that is heart. Full stop. Norepinephrine regulate the blood pressure. Norepinephrine regulate the blood pressure, BP, under the normal condition, and
epinephrine control the
blood pressure. It regulate the blood pressure. Norepinephrine, not epinephrine. Norepinephrine regulate the blood pressure under normal condition, and it increases the heart activity. So that's it for this one, this gland. Is it clear? If you have any doubt on any point, please ask me. Please have a look, and if you have any doubt, please ask. Because this was a bit complex and you have to memorize it. The hormone part, you have to memorize it.
Sir, thymus is also known as emergency hormone, right?
Yes, that is also known as,
so even
that is
exam
thymus, that is known as emergency gland. Emergency gland, right? This is also known as emergency gland. So, thymus. Thymus, where is the thymus gland? Thymus is known as emergency gland. No, thymus is not known as emergency gland. Did you read it? Thymus is emergency gland.
no.
No, thymus is not. Adrenal gland is emergency, and that is the gland of emergency. Thymus gland is known as gland of emergency, and this hormone is known as emergency hormone. Right? Epinephrine. Right. So the next gland is pancreas. Pancreas, the function of pancreas we have studied, and digestive system as well, but we have studied the function of that was the in perspective of digestive juices, right? So here we are studying the function of pancreas for the endocrine system. So pancreas, put the heading pancreas. Pancreas. Look, this is the pancreas. Here in pancreas, so we have two things. This part is called spleen. So try to understand the structure. This is called graveyard of WBC. It have nothing to do with the pancreas. Right? Just I am telling you because you won't get a diagram in any book. Spleen diagram you won't get. Acclaim it. Hardly you will get. You won't get in any book. Spleen diagram. It's not given. Actually, this is the position of spleen, where after the death of RBC, they come over here. So that's why it is called graveyard of RBC. It also store the extra RBC. That's why it is also known as blood bank. So spleen is known as blood bank. It is called blood bank because it store extra RBC, and it is also known as graveyard of RBC. Graveyard of RBC. Right. So these are the two. These are the two functions. And now come to the pancreas. Pancreas have two types of the function. We know a digestive function. So the digestive function is with the help of cells of acini. We have already studied that cells of acini, they are responsible for secretion of digestive juices, right? So they are responsible for digestion. We are not going to study this function. We have already understood. Now there are some cells. These are called pancreatic islets, right? Pancreatic islets. So we also call pancreatic islet of Langerhans. Islet of Langerhans. Islet of Langerhans, they have alpha cell, beta cells, right? So what is the function of alpha cell, beta cell, and they also have delta cells. So there are three types of the cells: alpha cell, beta cell, and delta cell. The third kind of the cells are delta cells. So, the alpha cells, they are responsible for secretion of glucagon. And beta cells, they are responsible for secretion of insulin. Both have opposite function. Insulin decreases glucose level and glucagon increases glucose. And again, there are some more cells. They are called delta cells. They secrete a hormone called somatostatin. Somatostatin. So they secrete a hormone called somatostatin, glucagon, and insulin. Right? So please start noting down. It lies inferior to stomach. It lies inferior to stomach. Full stop. Islet of Langerhans. Islet of Langerhans, named after their discoverer. Named after their discoverer. These produces endocrine secretion. These produces endocrine secretion. Full stop.
Sir, can you repeat again?
Islet of Langerhans are named after their discoverer. They produces endocrine secretion. Full stop. The alpha cell secretes glucagon. The alpha cell secrete glucagon. Full stop. Glucagon convert stored glycogen, glucagon convert stored glycogen into glucose. Full stop. Beta cells secrete insulin. Beta cells secrete insulin. It convert glucose into glycogen. It convert glucose into glycogen in liver and muscles. Let's stop. It promote protein synthesis. It promote protein synthesis in tissue from amino acid. Let's stop. Insulin also increases. Insulin also increases synthesis of fat. Synthesis of fat. Full stop. Delta cell. Next point. Delta cell secrete somatostatin. It suppress
Delta cell secrete
somatostatin. Delta cell secrete somatostatin. It suppress the release of other hormone. Next, pancreatic polypeptide cells are also found which inhibit pancreatic polypeptide cells are also found which inhibit the release of digestive juices. Now the
which
most
inhibit
the release of digestive juices. Now the next part is defect, or you can say disorder. Put the heading disorder. Now what are the disorder of this one? The both hypo or hyper secretion are very dangerous for. So the first and foremost disease that is caused by it, that is, the first one is diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus, this is called hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia. So this is the generally called sugar, what we know sugar. So what we call sugar or diabetes, that is actually diabetes mellitus, right? Hyperglycemia means more sugar in blood, right? Note it down. This is the most common endocrine disorder. This is the most common endocrine disorder. Let's stop. Due to failure of beta cell due to failure of beta cell to secrete sufficient insulin. Right? Full stop. In this case, a person become very weak. In this case, a person become very weak. Full stop. Blood cholesterol level rises. Hence, healing power is impaired. Hence, healing power is impaired. And you know, the first, if somebody is going for surgery, the first question which doctor asks that, are you diabetic or not, right? And they check the sugar level, because healing power is impaired during this disease. It's very bad disease. The next one is that hypoglycemia, right? That is a low sugar level. It is more dangerous than hyperglycemia, right? Second one is hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia, right? It occurs when blood glucose level falls down. It occurs when blood glucose level falls down below normal. Theoretically, it may be due to excess of insulin or deficiency of glucagon, or both. It leads to weakness. And profuse sweating. Right? So this was all about the pancreas. Okay. Now the next gland is testis. Right? So as you know, it is found in the male only, right? So please note the function of testis. So we will study in detail regarding the cells which are found on testis. So till the time we can understand the function of so look, this is the structure of testis. So testis remains enclosed in a pouch-like structure that is called scrotum. They control the temperature of this one. And testes have these inside the testis. This is the structure of a lateral section of testis. Testis have some tubule-like structure. These are called seminiferous tubules. And this is the testis. Testis is closed in a pouch called scrotum. and testes have some tubule, these convoluted tubules, these tubules, network of tubules, they are called seminiferous tubules, where sperm formation actually takes place. And this is the TS of seminiferous tubules. This is the TS of seminiferous tubules. Look, this is the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules, in between the seminiferous tubules, there are interstitial cells, or these are called leading cells. Interstitial cells, or they are called leading cells. Interstitial cells or leading cells, they are the responsible for secretion of androgens. And these, the primary androgen which is found in the humans, that males, that is called testosterone. Testosterone. So start writing. Interstitial cell or leading cells, interstitial cell or leading cells of seminiferous tubules secrete various male sex hormone called androgen. Full stop. The principal androgen is testosterone.
Sir, can you repeat from male hormones? Male sex hormones.
Various male sex hormones called androgen. Full stop. The principal androgen is testosterone. The principal androgen is testosterone. Full stop. The function is growth and development of hormone, growth and development of hormone that develop secondary sex characteristic, that develops secondary sex characteristic. Full stop. Next, development of secondary sex organ, development of secondary sex organ. Full stop. They stimulate
secondary
sex organ. Full stop. They stimulate formation of sperm. They stimulate formation of sperm. Full stop. The next one is ovary, that is found in females, right? So next gland is, put the heading of next gland, that is ovary. This gland is found only in female. This is the actually ovary. So what happened in ovary? At the initial stage, the formation of there are two type of the cells. So basically, the structure which is found in between of these, this is called stroma. This part is called stroma, and these are the follicle-like structure they develop when they grow. We call them inside this follicle. They are called actually primary follicle. Inside the primary follicle, the development of primary egg of ovum takes place. When they develop, fully mature primary follicles are called Graafian follicle. So at the 14th day, the Graafian follicle rupture. 14th day of menstrual cycle. Graafian follicle rupture. Egg is liberated, right? And after liberation of the egg, this follicle starts shrinking down, and these are called corpus luteum. These are called, the structure called corpus luteum, and they start secreting some hormones, right? So corpus luteum secreted some hormones. They are estrogen, progesterone, right? So these hormones, then they function accordingly. So start writing down. The hormone produced by ovary are estrogen, progesterone, progesterone, relaxin, inhibin, and actin. Inhibin and actin. Estrogens are secreted from estrogens are secreted from Graafian follicle. This one. Estrogen are secreted from Graafian follicle. Let's stop. It developed female secondary sex characteristic. It developed female secondary sex characteristic during puberty. It developed female secondary sex characteristic during puberty. Let's stop. Maturation of ova and mammary gland. Next, progesterone. Next is progesterone. Progesterone is secreted from corpus luteum. This one here, this one. Progesterone is secreted from corpus luteum. Corpus luteum. Full stop. It stimulates development of mammary gland. Full stop.
Second is safe and stimulate.
It stimulates development of mammary gland. Full stop. It is required for the formation of placenta. It is required for the formation of placenta and maintenance of pregnancy. Full stop. Relaxin is also secreted by corpus luteum. Full stop. It is secreted during later stage of latter stage of pregnancy. Later stage of pregnancy. Full stop.
Second is safe and secreted.
It is secreted during later stage of pregnancy. Full stop. It increases the food size. It increases the food size during pregnancy. Full stop. Inhibit and actin activate. Inhibit and actin activate the hormones like FSH and GnRH, means gonadotropin releasing hormone, follicular stimulating hormone and gonadotropin releasing hormone. So it switch on or switch off all these both of the hormone. So inhibin switch off both of the hormone, actin activate both of the hormone, right? So this was all about the glands, and the last thing is that is the mechanism of hormone action, right?
Sir, can you repeat from FSH and GnRH?
Yes, FSH we have actually already discussed during the pituitary hormone, right? But still, I want to tell you, FSH is that is the follicle stimulating hormone, right? GnRH is gonadotropin releasing hormone. Right? The last thing that is in this chapter and the last thing in this our syllabus is that is the mechanism of hormone action. How does hormone work? The hormones keep on floating, keep on flowing in our blood, and how does they work when they reach in the target cell, right? So that is the hormone action, right? They keep on roaming here and there along with our bloodstream. When they reaches in the target organ where they have to work, then they start function. That is called hormone action. Look, this is the diagram that explain the hormone action. Yes, this is the diagram, and look, how does it work? Suppose that this is this diagram representing the function of steroid hormone. These hormone reaches to particular cell, and these hormones are, when they reaches to plasma membrane, these hormones molecules, they are recognized by receptor protein. Receptor protein recognize and take them inside. When they take them inside, they reaches to the nucleus in through nucleus pore. When the hormone reaches to nucleus pore, this hormone and receptor complex, it reaches to DNA. In DNA, they start what? They start formation of mRNA on DNA templates. So that is called, that part is called transcription. When they reaches to DNA, means a gene, what they do, they start formation of mRNA, and this process is called transcription. mRNA come out of the nucleus. This is nucleus. This complete structure is nucleus, and this is nuclear envelope. And these are the structure. These structure are called nuclear pore. So from nuclear pore, mRNA comes out. mRNA start protein formation, protein synthesis, and formation of protein from mRNA is called translation. This protein comes out of the plasma membrane, and it start working as whatever it want to do. So that's how the hormone action takes place in our cells, and that's how the hormone action takes place in our targeted cells, right? So this was the actually hormone action, right? Take the screenshot of this one. Right. So if you want, you can note it down. when hormone reaches to a target cell, they are recognized by receptor. Let's stop. They form a receptor protein complex.
They are recognized by
Receptors present on cell. Full stop. They form hormone receptor complex. Full stop. The complex reaches to DNA. The complex reaches to DNA and causes the complex reaches to DNA and causes the transcription, that is formation of mRNA. That is formation of mRNA. Let's stop. mRNA come out of nucleus. mRNA come out of nucleus and it causes translation, that is protein formation. That is protein formation. And the protein act as the functional component. That's it. That's how the hormone action takes place, right? And that's it for our syllabus. We have completed our syllabus. So we have taken care of all of the chapters, right? And we are planning to have now, like, as we have completed this syllabus. So, but the final information will be communicated to you with the help of Niskarthi. He'll communicate the final information that how we are going to do further. Most probably now we will now like before till today we were taking 2 classes in a week, but most probably we will have 1 class in a week for the revision purpose, right? But the final uh, the communication will be given by the, this was just a hint for you. So but the final communication will be communicated from the Niskarchi, right? So is there any question, any doubt, any query you can ask?
So, when you did the 2 chapters, photosynthesis in plants and respiration in higher plants, so I wasn't there when, like, I couldn't attend those classes. I was
Okay,
absent those classes.
okay,
So,
sir.
sir, can I get the notes of those chapters?
Yusra, I like, yes, the photosynthesis. Look, this is the photosynthesis chapter I did in your class, and even yes, respiration I did in your class. So you know, you have to communicate to Niskarchi. So most probably, maybe this is the actually in the form of notebook. So it must be with him, right? These all notes must be with him. As I have, as you can see, these are the backup of topic. All topics have been covered, right? So it must be to him. If it will be possible, he will give you this the same like my written notes, like the written notes which are in the like this notebook, right? He can provide you. Most probably he'll provide you, right? So once
Yes, sir.
make a call to Niskarji, right? He'll definitely help you out, right? Great. Yes. Any more query,
Sure, sir.
Sir, can
right?
you say what is the emergency gland again?
Emergency gland, that is the parathyroid gland. Sorry, I'm sorry. That is the this one. Adrenal gland. That is the emergency gland. Adrenal. This gland. Adrenal gland. This is called emergency gland, right? Gland of emergency. And emergency hormone is which one? This one. Epinephrine, right? Epinephrine emergency hormone. It is secreted from the medulla part of adrenal. Clear? Any more query or question? No? So all the best for your coming examinations, right? And we'll see you in next session as well. And before see you in next session, definitely I'll see you in the revision classes, right? We'll have a revision class most probably, and we'll see you in revision class, right? Fine.
Yes, sir.
So all the best. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Meta. Welcome. Bye. Shahid, all clear? Shahid? Mohiddin? Yes, all clear? Any doubt? Saifullah? No doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So bye-bye. Take care, all of you. See you in next class.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, welcome, Meta. Welcome.